What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this before, or thought I would ever use some of these words in the same sentence, like a unwanted RoboGasm. I don't really know what you would describe this as, but there's a big hullabaloo over a Twitch role play stream. This is actually a pretty popular format for people where they'll do, like Critical Roles, very popular show. They have, they'll play like D&D or something like that live and people tune in. This particular show has people using voice changers and it's high production quality. It's not the kind of content I'm into, but it would be stupid to deny that others aren't also interested in it. Let's take a little look.
So yeah, he's standing up and he says to you, he's like, his eyes are like wide. You can see him like almost like tearing up a little with like, oh God, it's happening. And he says to you, he's like, don't be scared. I've done it before. I can show you. And he reaches over onto the table and he picks up.
Now, what you've witnessed so far is real-time triggering. That's right. If you look up to the right, is it this way or this way? You'll see Haley Sky is not reacting well to this, and watch everybody else's faces as things develop.
Some kind of like device, right? It's got a plug on one end and some buttons on the handle. And he says, I'm going to do it real gentle the first time and you tell me how it feels, okay? And
sure.
he says there's a port in the back.
I mean, they can all see each other. Read the room, dude. This Autumn dude is just, he knows. Haley has still not really changed her face, and the befuddled look on Elspeth's face should have told you something's going on.
Your neck, you can feel it, and he gently, like, he puts his hands up, like you're a scared animal. He's like, let me just, and he reaches up to touch it, right? And you can feel it. There's a port back there, and it's like, as far as you know, it's like a firmware update port. It's hidden at the base of your skull. You don't remember, like, it's never been accessed while you were conscious. So he reaches up, you can feel it, and he holds up the device, and you can see that the prongs on the thing match the feeling of the plug. And he says, I'm just a little at first, okay?
I really love the smile that the GM here gives because he's really proud of himself. Read the room, dude. Half these people aren't even paying attention anymore because they know things are about to go off the rails. The chat's going bananas. Oh my God.
Okay, sure. Johnny has no idea what this guy's about to do. No idea what this guy's going to do.
He places the edge of the device against the port and he presses a button. And Johnny has, for the first time in his entire life, whatever the equivalent of a robot orgasm, right there. It hits you like a truck. Your whole system just like lights up with like positive experience indicators, and your vision like flickers and blurs. Your temperature sensors all go haywire for just a second. Your knees buckle slightly.
I'm going to throw up. I think I'm going to throw
Don't
up.
throw up.
The nice dinner that I had. I'm going to throw it up.
And I think maybe that's the last shot. I think that's the shot of the episode.
I'm going to guess the way your own players are reacting, this is probably the last episode you'll ever do.
Is Johnny getting his brain stimulated?
Come on.
I got he threw up. Oh, this is ugly.
Wow.
By this sexy mechanic.
What a ride it's been.
I feel like this is where Johnny should shout for help. He's just violated.
Yes, please. Let me kill this creep.
Robots need love.
And that is the face of a man who realizes that thousands of people will see this clip.
Too. All right.
But he thought he was gonna fix him.
Yeah, well,
Not give an orgasm. Jesus Christ.
That's right. We have to start every episode with an explosion. So
Okay.
And how do we think this played out with the rest of the cast? Let's take a look.
I messaged Adam saying that this was not what I envisioned for Johnny. He apologized for misreading my intent. I'm not sure how one could misread the intent to get fixed up as, let's give this guy an orgasm, but it happened despite the red flags anyway. After rewatching the episode multiple times, I was no longer open to having my character or my name tied to this story, so I quit. And that's it.
Now, you can probably guess this led to some interesting spice. You know, having Elspeth Eastman quit the show, having the other showrunners, Havana Rama, Vanna, who's also on the show. By the way, I can always kind of tell when I've never interacted with somebody and I try to pull up their Twitter profile and I'm already blocked. Generally tells me something I need to know. I see pronouns in the bio. I see this type of stuff. So, yeah, anyway. She gives her support to the woman for quitting. Here, a clear and concise summary of the situation from the person who was forced into the epicenter of it. I fully support Elspeth's decision and believe 100% that her response and feelings are valid. Everyone deserves to feel safe at the table and to walk away from it when they don't. This is the SJW side of gaming. It's actually quite popular in board gaming and other sides of gaming. They've pretty much got the stronghold in board games and RPGs. Those battlefields have been lost. I mean, just look at all the people in positions of power in board gaming and just how terrible they are. But of course, then you end up with the apology tour from Adam with the pink hair. Now, it's interesting to me. First of all, I don't see anything wrong with what was said. However, from Adam, who is also a guy who has me pre-blocked and a pronouns in the bio LGBTQ member, it's a shocking level of, I don't know, idiocy to even consider going down this road. Adam is, in my opinion, the one exclusively at fault here. Now, I don't see anything wrong with it. But if you're playing with a bunch of powder keg SJWs, you should probably know better. Unless you're one of them, and apparently also a creep. So after massive backlash, a lot of folks are asking about Verona Season 2. We've had conversations in bits and pieces, but I wanted to make sure folks knew what was going on. I'm sorry it's taken the time it has, but talking with the cast friends and my counselor about it, here's a thread. All this is over a RoboGasm. JP and I spoke about the bit during the most Q&A, and I've provided a text version of that below. It was a broad statement meant to address the show rather than the issue itself. I'm not going to read that. It's boring. I want to take responsibility for this directly and speak to the harm it did. The harm. It's so funny to hear these people talk about these things like it's like an IRL thing that's just so devastating. And it's funny to me. It's clear to me that this guy is one of those, like, I'm a male feminist, but I'm really a predator kind of people. Because you write this, which is just over the top SJW speak, but you act a different way when your defenses go down a little bit. It's not a coincidence that so many male feminists end up in the paper. I'm just saying. This is absolutely a mistake. Even if we had safety protocols, that's what I call fun. Safety protocols in my RPGs. I didn't do the work beforehand to make sure that the scene would be safe and consensual for everyone involved. I see that it needed a lot more work on both before, during the scene, and I deeply regret not doing work with the cast. It's clearly indicative that I don't have my intentions and my behavior aligned. I decided that I would put my players through in this scene was wrong. And I'm still surprised at my own inability to recognize it in the moment. I understand that I let people down and that rightly more is expected of me. This isn't merely forgetting about safety tools. It's about recognizing that I didn't stop to think that the scene wasn't safe before those tools were necessary. It's about making bad decisions and putting people at risk. This is a plea to not be eaten alive by his fellow blue-haired pronoun bios people. That's what this is. Please don't eat me alive. And he goes on and on. To be better, I'll prevent future harm. Harm for what? Who is harmed in this? And then an apology. I recognize that I spent a lot of time talking about being a safe person to play with. I am not. I have a lot of work to do there. And all this has really hammered home is being safe isn't a state of existence, but a work of constant labor. Who wants to work this hard to play a video or to play a role-playing game or a video game? Imagine going through life like this. In short, I feel a deep regret for not doing better, for letting down the cast and fans. I have a long road ahead, one that may last the rest of my life. He's talking like he... The amount of just insane mental gymnastics. He's talking like he did the worst thing on the planet. I'm sorry that I hurt the cast, and to anyone in the audience who felt this apology is for you too. I'm going to rededicate myself and keep working to do a better job. Cringe City. I'm going to be taking some time off to reflect and to let this blow over and work with an accountability partner. So on this, my replies may be sporadic for time. An accountability counselor? Dude. Please. You had one fictional robot give another fictional robot a sense of enlightenment and wonder. And the people around you are eating you alive for it. Instead of thinking about how you're the worst person on the planet, maybe think about the people who are making you feel like that might be the ones that you need to replace. Now, I'm not giving this Adam guy a single break because he should have known better. And I personally am not offended by anything I saw in that roleplay. But I just love how these crazy people always seem to eat themselves. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you get consent forms from your robots and your RPGs. And we'll talk to you again real soon.